What is up, everybody? It is 1 week since Perils in Paradise has been released, so you know what time it is. It is achievement hunting time. So in the 8 days that the expansion has been gone, I've been able to 100% all the achievements. Let me tell you, it was a difficult run this time around. But don't worry, I got you covered. I'm going to show you how to do each and every one. Before I get into the deck list, though, I want to cover a couple things that you should make note to make sure that your achievement grind is as efficient as possible. First off, number one is if you play the game for fun and achievements aren't fun to you, but you do want to get them, you have a lot of time. The expansion is around for, 90 days till the next one. And even at that point, even if the next expansion comes out, you're still going to have the opportunity to complete some of these achievements and I think presumably get experience for them. So don't feel like there is a rush to get it. Me, myself, like I just have a weird OCD mentality and that's why I do chase them. So for me, the fun is getting them done as quick as possible in an efficient manner. So on that note, to efficiently complete them, sometimes winning is not the best way, okay? And what I mean by that is sometimes, like for instance, play 300 drink spells. In any particular game, you could probably only play 6 to 8 total drinks, right? So if that's the case, once I've played 6 drinks, there's no point in me to sit in that game any longer, unless there's another achievement that I can tally some stats for. Okay, so I often in this run, I would like leave the game or concede or whatever, right? But that's it. There's nothing wrong with just playing the game, winning, losing, whatever, and just playing cards that you like to play. Now, 2 other ways to efficiently play this, okay? Number one, every class has 1 achievement in particular for their class, right? However, this time around, we have the tourist mechanic. So because we have the tourist mechanic, there is an opportunity for you to chase 2 class achievements with 1 deck, as well as a number of neutral achievements. So you'll see that in a lot of these deck lists that I show you, there's an ability to complete 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 different achievements. And remember, neutral achievements can be achieved by every deck. So it behooves you in the beginning of your achievement grind to make sure that you keep these 4 in mind and you deck build with that in mind. So for instance, rest and relaxation, you got to deal 888 damage with Octomassuese total, not like in 1 turn, okay? So my beginning decks had a lot of Octomassuese in them. I also always played a tourist when I could, and I also always played a drink when I could, and I always played a location when I could, okay? Until these were complete, and then I would take them off if they weren't necessary to the deck. All right, so that's all of that in a nutshell. Let's get right into it. We're going to go from the top to the bottom. In some cases, I'll show you multiple deck lists. We're going to start with Death Knight. The Death Knight achievement is to play 10 variants of Caress the Cabaret Star. Oops, so what did I just do with her? Let's go show Caress for a minute. Okay, so if you see here, Caress has all these different variants of what she can do. Like this battle cries and taunts, freeze, damage, all these different things. This is based upon the spell schools that you cast while she's in your hand. All right. So, for instance, if you cast Arcane, then one of her skills will be draw 2 cards. If you cast Fire, one of it will be deal 6 damage. If you cast Freeze, one of it will be to freeze minions. If you cast Shadow, it will be to destroy a hero. If you cast Holy, it will be to heal. If you cast Nature, it will be to taunt. And there's deal 2 damage to all minions. That's spell. So there's, 6 or 7 different spell schools. What I did is I played a couple of decks, and I just made sure that whenever I had Caress the Cabaret Star, I played 2 different spell schools or a combination of 2 spell schools that I didn't already have. So it's, for instance, if I already played Shadow and Frost together, I made sure I did something like Shadow and Fire, Shadow and Fell, or Frost and Fell, or Frost and Fire. But remember, they have to be 2 different ones, and the order doesn't matter, okay? So if you played like Frost and Fire, if you play Fire and Frost, that won't count as a second one. For this in particular, I think it's very, very important to track the spells that you have done. So I opened up a Notion card, and every game I would activate Caress, I would keep that info in there, okay? You only have to do it 10 times. It's relatively easy. There are more than 10 options available. But as a Shaman or as a Death Knight, it really is difficult to get access to all of them, because you're not going to be able to just play Fire, Frost, and Shadow. That only covers 6 combinations. You still have to play some of the other 2 uncommon spells, right? So you're going to have to play Holy, you're going to have to play Nature, and likely you're going to have to play 1 or 2 Fel combinations, okay? So here is the first deck list, and the reason this is a Death Knight Shaman deck list, and I like this, is pretty cool because you get to play Buttons, and in my opinion, Buttons is really, really cool. Like, he draws a spell of each school. So what I've done in this particular deck list, there are 3 different spell schools represented in the deck. We have Molten Magma for Fire, we have Threads of Despair for Shadow, and then we have Corpuscle for Frost. Okay, so whenever you play Buttons, you get access to those 3. And if you have Caress, then, it's going to be pretty easy to get 6 combinations, like whether it's Frost Shadow, Frost called Fire, or Fire Shadow, whatever it may be, you're going to be able to get those combinations relatively quickly. Also, the Death Knight achievement is to get to do 180 damage with Corpuscle. And, you're going to get this really quickly. You're going to get 180 damage with Corpuscle way before you complete the 10 games of Caress Cabaret Star. So this is the deck list. It got rid of 2 achievements right away, and I like to play it. The one thing that you could change here to make it even more efficient is probably add Horizon's Edge, or whatever that location is called. Yeah, Horizon's Edge, so that way you can also work towards completing this achievement. But I like this deck list. It's pretty simple to play. You're going to mulligan for your 1-drops and 2 mining casualties. Then towards the mid game, when you're holding all these spells, you're going to drop Cabaret Headliner to discount them, and then you can kind of tempo out these big turns. And your win condition here is Reska versus Ziliax and Razzle Dazzle versus everything else, right? And it's a pretty cool deck, but Razzle Dazzler, it's not as strong as I had hoped it would be. I will say, though, this is one thing I like about achievement chasing, is you get the opportunity to try out these cards that, are on the fringe of being very good that maybe you don't like. And I really do like Caress Cabaret Star and Razzle Dazzler. I think the spell school archetype is very interesting, and this deck is really fun. So, if you're looking to try something different, give this one a try. The next achievement is for Demon Hunter, and it's to play 500 pirates. So I have 2 pirate lists here. This is the one that I played the most. I played this for like maybe 90% of the achievement. And let me just be clear. So a pirate with charge is clearly what it says. So the extra pirates that Patches summons, those count. Sigil Sky Diving, that counts. And Dangerous Cliffside, that counts. Nothing else counts, okay? This list here, funny enough, I was chasing another couple of achievements, and I tanked my rating from D1, Diamond 1, to Diamond 5, and it was so bad that my opponents, they were gold ranked. And I only know this because some of them would add me and be like, you're horrible, right? So I had played another deck, and I tanked my rating so bad, and we'll talk about that other deck soon. But by the time I finished the achievement for the other deck, I had jumped onto this one, Demon Hunter. And like I said in the other videos, I took that list from the dumpster of Diamond to ultimately 6,000 Legend, right? Which was not bad. And I did it in a span of 4.5 hours. And I completed the achievement in 4.5 hours. So it is 500 pirates that you have to summon, and that is quite a bit. But this is, like, honestly, if there's a list to play, this is the list. And I am really confident that this is probably the best Demon Hunter pirate list. I like everything about this list. I'll do a video breakdown on this in another day, but yeah, there's that list. If you don't have errata and you're looking for maybe a cheaper list, or I don't know if this is cheaper per se, but here is a purely Demon Hunter list, and all that's changed is instead of Brave-Masseuse, we have Battlefield, and instead of errata, we have Going Down Swinging, and instead of Brain Sap or whatever the acupuncture, whatever that 1 mana damage spell is, we have Illidari Studies. Those are the only changes. So deck is very similar and still quite good. So that's Demon Hunter. Next on the list we have Druid. And for Druid, I actually did not play a Druid deck, but obviously if you just play Ziliax with Hydration Station, you'll probably achieve that relatively quickly. This is the list I played. You know, because I was trying to get the Rye Cleaver one as well, but I don't even know if I would suggest this one anymore, because I think my next version was actually better. But you know, for the sake of accuracy, this is the list I played, and it's simple. You want to play big taunts, and then you want to play Hydration Station to get back at least 25 mana worth of stats. So that means summoning 3 big minions. Ziliax is 9 mana, 9 times 3 is 27. So if you get back 3 Ziliaxes, you're good. If you get back this plus 2 9-drops, you're good. It was really easy. This is probably the easiest achievement to get. This is the decklists I played, but with the meta and how it's evolved in a week, this is probably not good, and you'd probably be better off playing something else, right? So that's Buffet Warrior. For next one is Hunter. Now, the Hunter quest is to kill or destroy 5 minions with Death Roll. So, and let me say, this is the one achievement that I just could not do, okay? I could not do this in Standard, so I took this in Wild, and I follow someone on Twitter. He's a pretty clever player. It's Alu, and he had this deck list, which he recommended, and I was able to get the achievement in 3 games. And the challenge really, okay, so first of all, the way Death Roll works is a 5 mana spell, and you destroy a minion, and then whatever its attack was, you split it among all enemies. So it can also hit the face. And that's pretty interesting. And because, you know, I tested a bunch of different decks. I was doing like Buffet Hunter, I was doing Shadow Priest, and it's actually a cool endgame card at the top end, because in some, like, you know, if you're playing a really aggressive deck and then, you know, maybe they play out a big taunt, you can play Death Roll and not only remove that taunt, but find the extra damage to like maybe find lethal. So it is pretty interesting, and this one was super fun, but I was so annoyed with this achievement. Basically, this is just a Miracle Priest in Wild, and in order to achieve the achievement, all you have to do is, you know, I say all you have to do, like it's that easy, but all you have to do is have your opponent have 4 minions on board, and then just play your double Radiant Elemental or your 1 Radiant Elemental, you know, buff up their biggest minion with the Divine Spirit, Inner Fire combo, and then Death Roll it, and hope to God it kills everything on the board. And, you know, as you can see in this video, it did, but I did have a couple of game opportunities where it did not play that way. So, you know, anyway, that's the deck list. Good luck with that one. You only have to kill 5. So that means 5 minions on the board, buff up 1, you kill it, and you have this kill the other 4. You have the effect kill the other 4. So it is a pretty cool deck. It's pretty fun. If you like Wild, give that a try. Next on the list is this list. This is the other list that I was playing to try to achieve that achievement. But I guess it's worth talking about, because this is also the list that I played Octomassuese and got the 888 damage achievement. So in this list, my idea was the same. If they were to play 5 minions on the board, then I'd play a bunch of Cup of Muscles and, you know, a bunch of bananas, and maybe the unit was big enough that I'd kill it with Death Roll. And, you know, spoiler alert, that never happened for me, but that was what I tried to do. But this deck list, instead, the other win condition was Octomassuese, and it was pretty simple. Fight for the board early, play Bird Watching, draw some cards, play Octomassuese. He's a mech and a beast. Cards like Absorbent Parasite can attach to him, And basically, you just want to buff him a bit. Like, it adds up. So the way to calculate damages is whatever it hits, it deals 8 times. So if you have 4 attack, it's going to deal 32 damage. If you have 10 attacks, it's going to deal 80 damage. So it is pretty, it racks up pretty quickly, because very often one attack is not going to kill this, right? And also, this doesn't count if it goes face. You have to hit minions with this for damage to count. So you can't look for like some crazy OTK and be okay with it, unless it's like, I don't even know if the always a bigger Juramonger, the one that gives like the trample damage. I don't think that works with this, but I could be wrong. But anyway, this is the deck list I played. It was pretty fun, and actually, it makes me think that there is a mech hunter available. Octomassuese might not necessarily be the card, but I do think a mech hunter can find a role in this type of meta currently. So that was Octomassuese. Next, we're at Mage. And the Mage achievement was to play, I forgot how much mana, I think 100 mana worth of spells with off of Cephalopod. So this is what I played, and I really, really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. You see this list right here. It's very, very, the early end has very cheap minions that give a lot of values, like Audio Splitter will double the highest cost spell in your hand. You get drinks from drink servers, so you can do your drink achievement. Bumbling Bellhop, which is, in my opinion, a very, very underrated card. This gives you 6/6 worth of stats for 3. Gorgon Zormu is a free card. You get to play that. Mixologist, this is just a real simple deck. And then Watercolor Artist, so that you'll draw Tsunami. And then Cephalopod, right? So Cephalopod, it's only going to hit Under the Sea. It's only going to hit Tsunami. It's only going to hit Sons of Volley. And it's only going to hit Galactic Projection Orb. Obviously, if you hit this and you haven't played anything, that's a whiff. But I didn't whiff that often, okay? And it is really, really cool, because another like potential turn is like Cephalopod into Watercolor Artist. So you guarantee, the Tsunami hitting everything, which was pretty cool. So there are a bunch of like ways to play this. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. This was one of the most fun decks that I played. But obviously some matches just, you're not going to win. like Ziliax, if Ziliax comes down, there's no way you can play around this. So, but against everything else, I had a fair chance, or, it was overwhelmingly favored. So it's very good anti-aggro. So that is Mage, pretty relatively easy to get. Paladin is to cast the lotion on, I believe it's 100 lotions. This one is a bitch. Okay, this one took a bit. So what I have here, I was trying to do different Paladin versions, but I didn't like the speed of these other Paladin decks. I didn't think think they were that fun. So what I have here is this concierge version of a Mage, and it plays the life-saving aura, which gives you sunscreen, and it also plays where's that card? Volleyball, which gives you sunscreen. So those are going to be the ways you get sunscreen. It also has drinks. It has, this is based upon getting like cheap 1-mana spells and playing concierge and playing a lot of those for free. So it's a very cool deck. And I also have Octomassuese in here, which was very, very good for the achievement. Like, this was the perfect deck, kind of buff those things. So, the idea here is simple. You're going to clear the board where you can. Usually, ideally, the turn is like life-saving aura on 1. You fight for the board on 2 and 3 and 4. And then by that time, turn 3 or 4 come around, you've got like 4 life-saving auras in your hand. Then you play out like a Grillmaster or Octomassuese. Hopefully they stick. Then you play like Concierge into buffing them. Or, combination of that. And while you do that, you're discounting your sea shanty. So it is a pretty cool deck, pretty fun. I had a lot of fun playing this. And this is how I also completed the neutral drink achievement, because there's just so many drinks that you're going to get access to and be able to play. So very cool deck. I had a lot of fun. The priest achievement is a little tricky. It is to play the rain, and there's 2 parts. So the first part, you play the rain, and then you have to get a legendary off of Lorraine's feature card or fortune card. So the way Lorraine works is when you play him, you get 2 more cards in your hand, and they are a always adapting copy of whatever the top card of your deck is. So if the top card is Power Word Shield, they're both Power Word Shields. When you draw the Power Word Shield, those cards become whatever the next top card is, right? So for the first achievement, you have to pull a legendary, or you have to play a legendary with one of your fortune cards. So, it's pretty simple. I think this is the deck list that I played. It was easy to get that one. The second part's a little harder. For the second part, you have to pull a Lorraine, right? So you have to cast a Lorraine with your fortune. And there's only really one reliable way to do that, and that's with Creation Protocol. So basically, make sure you don't have Lorraine in your hand, forge it, discover a copy of him, so get a copy of Lorraine, play the Lorraine that you get in your hand, and hope to God that at some point in the game, you're able to find the fortune and play it. So, it's doable. I believe this is a relatively more control-based list. Yeah, you'll be able to get it. This one's just a grind. You just got to get lucky on the RNG. So that's Priest. Next up, we have Rogue, and the Rogue one is to play 16 different cards, different quest cards with Eudora, and there are quite a few. I want to say there's something like 28 or 29. So, like the Caress Cavalry Star one, my recommendation for this is that you keep track of the items, the loot that you've played, so you don't play, them a second time, right? Because it won't count. So it's got to be 16 unique items. There were a couple of decks that I used to do it. This particular rogue list is pretty popular on HS Replay, so this is the first one I started out with, and this is Thief Rogue. Basically the idea here is, whatever, play these random generating cards, then you play Masked Merchant to change to another class, right? Find another class, change to it. So that way, when you play Casgraven, you're playing back most of your Thief cards and then all of your Rogue cards. Treasure Hunter Eudora is obviously in there, and she doesn't really add anything to the win condition except more value later in the game. And for that reason, I hated it. I struggled using this deck because it's just, not only was it not competitive, it's just very slow. Like getting Eudora to give me what I needed was just a little difficult. It didn't fit the game plan as well as I had hoped. Usually my hand was full of so many cards that I couldn't use or just were difficult to play with. So yeah, I did use that. And the other one I used was Paladin instead. And this one is this list is directly from the deck builder. So if you go into create a new deck with Paladin, this was Housewife's Temple Tourist Paladin. And I think this list actually made much more sense, right? So this plays very similar to a lot of the Sunsapper Linessa lists, except it has a top end of Amatus and Sea Shanty, and Treasure Hunter Eudora is thrown in here. The way that you activate Eudora is by using your rogue cards, and you have a few good ones. You have Seashell, you have Knick-Knack Shack, and then you have O Manager for damage, and you have Petty Theft. So Petty Theft will also get you cheap 1-mana spells to cast Eudora. I found this deck relatively refreshing and fun to play. Obviously, you can complete your drink ones with it too. You can complete your location one with it too. So it's a very good deck to kind of play. I wouldn't say it's on the high end of competitive, but it was pretty decent and it worked out pretty well. So I did like that. Next up, we have Shaman, and Shaman's achievement was Caress the Cabaret Star. We talked about the Death Knight deck earlier. The other Death Knight, or the other Shaman deck that I would use to recommend is Highlander Shaman. I was just trying to find ways to utilize this the best, and for me, Highlander Shaman was actually pretty effective as a deck as well, and it's fun to play. Especially you got Shutterblock and Cindy. You got the cool cards, right? You get to play all the cool late game cards. So this was fun deck. It's pretty competitive. It's pretty versatile. And the cool thing about this list is that there are also nature cards, a lot of nature cards, that you can draw off of Caress the Cabaret Star. So it was fun. I liked it. It was a pretty good deck. I'm not going to talk too much about it because, I just needed to get Caress. So after that, we have Warlock. Warlock is the shittiest achievement, okay? Because Warlock is simply to play, where is that card? Renounce the Darkness, or, oh, look, I didn't know I had that card. Where is it? Okay, gosh, man. Let me just open the deck. Okay, Announce the Darkness. Okay, so you have to play this shitty card. Okay. So basically the way this card works is you pay 2 mana, you replace your hero power and your non-Warlock cards with Warlock ones that cost 1 less. So basically, since we're playing Warlock, our hero power is now 1 mana, and any card that's not a Warlock card will become a Warlock card that costs 1 less. So what we're actually playing is a rogue list here, and it's all rogue cards or neutral, right? And because of that, even neutrals count. Okay, they're all going to be changed into Warlock cards. So I don't know what to tell you about this. Like, obviously, you just mulligan for Announce the Darkness, play it as soon as possible, because that's going to give you the best chance of winning, and then play every single card that you can. Okay, this is how I tanked. This is how I went from D1 to D5 with the worst MMR. Like, this was just horrible to do. I did win some games with the deck because, you are playing cards for cheaper than they cost, but it was not fun. It was interesting, but it was so boring. The good thing about it is this is quick. I completed the entire quest achievement line in 6 games. So I did find good speed with it, but I wouldn't be interested in doing that again. For Warrior, the quest is to make a sandwich with 7 minions in it. And this one is actually tricky, and it's going to take a little bit of deck building to figure out. Okay, so there are a number of ways to do this. I almost did this with Hunter, and actually Buffet Hunter. Oh no, I don't have that list. I guess I must have gotten rid of the list. Hunter is another way you could build it, because you can use All You Can Eat and the Hunter pack to kind of help you. But instead, I just went with a more controlled variation here. So the way it works is Rye Cleaver. When you equip it, you get a slice of bread. And when this thing dies, when the death rattle activates, you get another slice of bread, which is a card in your hand. And as soon as the card goes in your hand, all the creatures, minions in the middle of the 2 slices of bread get taken, and you make a 2 mana card, which is a minion sandwich. You make this card. And when you play the card, you summon minions. Now, hand size matters, okay? If you have 10 cards in hand and you activate the slice of bread, you'll lose the slice of bread. So it is kind of like a difficult card to use. And remember, you have to equip the Rye Cleaver, and then you have to put 7 minions in it. Okay, these are challenging. So I'm going to show you how this deck is meant to get that, right? So first things first, obviously you want Rye Cleaver, and obviously you want a fast way to get it. So Instrument Tech is the way to get that. Now, you want ways to put creatures in your hand, okay? So All You Can Eat will draw 3 different types of minions, and we have different ones. We have totems, we have mechs, we have dragons, we have ways of getting different minions into your hand. The other way that I did it is with Standardized Pack, because this is a cheap way to get 5 in your hand. But the problem is that means you're adding 5 cards to your hand. So if you end up with 10 cards in your hand after using the pack, you have to make sure to clear out space for 1 card so that you can put the slice of bread there. So once you're able to figure that out and manage your hand size, you'll be able to do this. And this is just, this is a pretty good deck. Like, this is pretty decent. Like, you're not trying to win. You're just trying to get the achievement done. But it'll get you there. So give that a try. one last decklist that I played because I was just short from reaching the location achievement. Was I just played this this Rainbow Decay list because Horizon's Edge is just very, very, you activated a lot in here. But keep in mind for the achievement is not to activate it twice in a turn or multiple times in a turn. The achievement is to play it and then activate it twice in the turn. So that means you need to make sure that you get 2 activations the turn you play it. So Death Knight is going to be the best at it because typically you have a creature on board that you can trade out. So keep that in mind. I actually completed it with Demon Hunter, I think. That's how I finished it off. But yeah, so those are all 15 achievements in the game. They are a little tricky, but with a little thoughtful preparation and approach, you'll be able to achieve all of them. Good luck. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I hope you get this one pretty quickly.